Hello, hello, and welcome to our second Same Six Wednesday. Man, that can be a tongue twister sometimes. So I have my paper here that I'm going to make my page on. And this time our 6 items, is from Lisa. And I loved her stamped image because I'm really sure those are her own stamps. And they're so cool. So what do we have to work with from Lisa? We have the Bird Watcher's Guide. It's got a warbler and purple galleon. I don't know, a purple bird. Yeah, we all know I can mess up language. We have a piece of advertising from a 1960 magazine, and I'm pretty sure, yep, the work basket. We have an index card that has been tea stained with a doily on it. Is that not beautiful? I love that. It kind of looks like it's been so worn out and washed out and just gorgeous. We have an envelope with a card, which, those are just pieces of paper, right? We can do whatever we can come up with. And then we have this little card of fiber, and I pulled the wrong direction on taking it off, so I broke a piece off. I've watched enough of Lisa's that I'm going to almost bet that she spun this. It's beautiful. I can't spin that tight. I make big chunky yarn when I spin. And the piece that I broke off, I've already used on the tiny little key that was in there. So I'm going to use some of that fiber too on last month's page on my popsicle stick that I stuck in here. In case you didn't remember, this is the first page I did. And this was APG Jamie's. So let's get our paper out. And again, we're going to work on this side. They don't have to be matchy-matchy. Of course, I'm using the same things, but they don't have to be like one big scene because it is going to be folded. So with that being said, let's look at this and contemplate, because honestly, I hadn't yet. So we have this. So I'm just going to, ooh, I could do that. That would be cool. It's a little bit white. But see, the thing with this is it's so beautiful, then I don't want to put anything on top of it. And so we have all of these other things. So I want to think about this a little bit. I'll come back and we'll see what I've come up with. So I'm going to pause it. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've played with things a little bit. Still not 100% sure what I'm going to do, but I did figure one thing out. I cut the envelope because I want it to be a flap. And I don't want to waste all of this because nobody would ever see it on the other side. So I'm going to put this on here like this. As a flap, maybe as a tuck in. I'm not 100% sure yet. And I also cut out the little fairy out of her envelope because it's just that cool. So I was thinking I wanted to kind of matte with this maybe and do that. I really like that look, but it's just not saying that's exactly what I want. So I'm thinking that I'm going to tear this, and I'm probably going to tear this into strips, and I am going to tear this, but I do want to use that bird. So we're going to go ahead and cut this one off so that I have the words here. And I'm thinking we'll do the bird on this side. So, any suggestions? I wish I could hear you all saying, oh, do this, do that. That would be so handy. So, okay, so I'm just going to go for it, just like I do anything else. I'm going to save this as long as I can, just in case I come up with something to do with that. I'm going to tear me a strip. I love my strips of things. And let's see, I think I want I don't want the funeral thing, the monument there. And so I think we'll just kind of see what happens when I tear right here. And make the other side nice and torn. I'd like it to be straight, but this paper just wants to tear where it wants to tear. And that's okay. That's quite okay. Yeah, let's get that little plane off the end. Let's find us a stencil for today, because we've got to put something on there, some texture of some sort. So I think I'm going to use this one. Why did I choose this one? Because it was on top. I'd love to find a way to use my stencils more efficiently and store them so that I can not always just grab the ones that on top. So I'm just adding a little bit of ink. I'm going to use a mixture of the Ancient Page Sienna and then the Distress in Walnut Stain. This is so much wetter, and this has even been re-inked recently. It just a big difference in the inks for me. And I'm not worried about how perfect it is, because I want it to not be perfect. Because that way, if you make a mistake, nobody knows. I'm just going to ink it up a little bit. We might as well do both sides since we're here. Kind of matching it up a little bit. Not too perfect, but you know, when it's all done, it's still going to be circles. It's not going to look like I put it on there at an angle per se. But, you know, you want to make it sort of like it's supposed to be. Okay, let's put a little bit of something there. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. So we'll put these up before I wear them. Okay, so we can take the envelope flap, and I'll go ahead and put the glue on it. Pull these little parts off. And I'm going to leave it folded up so I definitely don't get glue on the other spot, because it's going to be a flap. Okay. Try to center it, but that's, you know, just as close as I can get. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you pull it out just a bit more. There we go. I'm going to burnish that, but then I'm going to lift this up, so just in case there's glue there. So now we need to decorate. And I think that I'm going to do this, and then my little fairy right there. Yep, I like that. So we'll put this glue down. Or we'll put glue down on this. And of course I'll just take this and give it a little more ink on the edges. Sometimes I get kind of crazy with this and I push. One of these days I'm going to snap that right off. I'll put some glue on the index card here. And cover up that little bit. Well, no. Okay. So again, I think I'll put a little more ink on this and kind of get my edges there a little more. And my pretty little fairy. You know, some of these things that have showed up in here just kind of reminds me that I really like fairies, and I just don't always think to use them. I'm going to put this on here. You know, and sometimes we get those things and it's like, wow, I really like one of those. Or I really like using that. It's one of those fun things being in a group like this that you get to try something new without even realizing that, you know, hey, that's kind of what I wanted, you know, that's kind of how I wanted to do it. You know, go ahead and ink the edges of this a little bit, which I don't know where this inking the edges comes in. I've done it through every one of these that I've done, and I don't do it on my own, but it just makes it all look prettier, makes it all tie in, I guess. So we're going to leave this like this for now because I'm not sure where we're going after that. But I do think I want to cut this down. I'm going to get the big scissors. I cut better straight line with big scissors. And let's just kind of, let's go ahead and cut all the white off. I was going to leave a little bit of a white frame, but I think I want to cut it all off. Okay. Oh, look at the colors. Isn't that cool? I didn't really think that. I didn't intend that, but that's what happened. So I'm going to just tear the rest of this envelope open. I'm not sure if or how I'm going to use this, but I think it needs to be open because it might be another piece of paper for me to use. No, first of all, it's too big, and second of all, it's too big. So let's see what happens. Because this is pretty just like that, and this one's just kind of, I don't know, kind of plain. It could be an envelope, and then it goes with this. Oh, decisions, decisions, decisions. Okay. I'm just going to go for what I'm seeing. Okay. So I'm going to put some glue all over my bird's picture. Bye-bye, little purple bird. You're going to go into hibernation. This lined up just perfect. Just perfectly the way I want it. Let's put it that way. We all know in paper crafting, perfection isn't there, especially when you're cutting with scissors, or at least when I'm cutting with scissors. So I kind of matted this, and I really wanted it up there, but we'll see. I think we're going to go ahead and tear. But I'm going to use this pretty part this time. And I'm going to go ahead and That's okay. I can do this. I'm going to do this one. Okay, so we're just going to roll. We're just going to roll. Use another strip of this. Well, I tear perfect, don't I? That's okay. I use all those little scraps up there. Okay. So we'll put our glue on here. Yes, I'm making a mess. Scoot, scoot, scoot. And a little definition around the edges. We'll put some glue. And now I'll take my bird, and I think I'm going to go ahead and make him a pocket. I'm back to the pocket stage. But, you know, when you get the book all done and the pages are all pretty, it's kind of like, how can you work in the book? How can you write in the book if you don't have a pocket to write something on? So, or to write, you know, a pocket to put whether you write something in. Okay, strike it. Those words are just all messed up. My little metal tip on here keeps falling out. Okay, I think that my basic outline is done, and they're almost exactly the same. The pockets on this side and the pockets on the bottom. Do they match the other side? The other page? Yep, the pocket on the side, a pocket on the bottom. This isn't intended, but that's just how it's going. So I guess you just go how it goes, right? So I got a couple little things I want to do, and I will be right back. Okay, I have this left over, and I really want to use it, but I want to use it as a card. So I'm going to put a little bit of paint on it. All the crunchies are coming off. We're going to let that dry for a while. I think I'll just lay it up here on my keyboard. You know, a little paint never hurt anybody, right? So my page is over here, and because I cover up the inside, it's okay to lay it down here. And I was thinking about that string because it's so cute and it's so fun. And I decided somehow or another that hopefully I can make this work. I'm going to try the tacky glue. And I did just thin this down, so let's hope I don't make a horrible mess and ruin everything. I am going to, she's feeding baby birds, but you have to really look at it to see it, so I'm going to give her a nest of some of these gorgeous little fibers. It should blend right in. That's my plan. That's my hope, is that it blends in. And I think I'll see if I can kind of smash them down without my fingers so that I don't get them stuck to me. There's still a bit of glue there, but I think I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on my key. Because it's got some fibers already tied to it. So we're going to do that. We're going to stick the fibers down in the glue. I may have to come back and add more glue to this, or I might have to stitch through the key to keep it in place. Hopefully that will work this way. I'm gonna leave that. So I'm letting one thing dry with paint and one thing dry with glue. Let's go see if we can work over here on this page. I cut another piece of the string, yarn, fiber, and I think what I want to do is tie right here. Did I make it long enough to go around it twice? I hope so. Not really. So I'm going to put this to the side because there's still quite a bit here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to tie it, and I'm going to kind of tie it around so that I'm kind of like catching them all and they won't, I don't know, run off, have their own little mind. You know how things work. It's going to do a bow, but I don't think this warrants a bow. I think it just warrants just a knot and stringies. And we don't want to waste these, so let's just see if we can find a little spot with some glue and push these little babies right in there. And I want some of them sticking up, but I want them to stick down somewhere. Let's just add a little more glue. These birds will have this pretty plasticky looking fiber nest. You know how glue kind of dries clear and plasticky. There we go. I think that'll hold. Okay, so we've got our card over here, and I'm going to stick this down in here. I may have to trim it a bit, and let's let everything dry, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is pretty dry. It's not completely dry. I used the heat gun, and I went ahead and dried this and trimmed the edges to be rough and torn and all fun, and they're going to go in here like this. So this really doesn't even get seen much, but that's okay. I moved my fibers over here because then if I want to take something and stick it in over here, like whatever I decide to use to journal, I can do that, and it'll just stay tucked right in there. I don't have to worry about tucking something down. And when I put this together, this will be permanent, however, wherever I put it. It may go down here for a while until I figure out exactly what I need to do to keep it from falling off. So what I'm going to do here is I decided that my little card, yes, I can write on it, I can journal on it, it's kind of plain, right? So I'm going to take some of these little scraps and I'm going to put them on here. And just kind of, I don't know, frou-frou this up a little bit, you know? I love the torn pieces of paper. And see, I told you I would use all these. Just kind of a little cluster. Nothing fancy, just a little bit of decoration on there. And again, got to do some inking. I'm going to go with this one because it's going to get it darker faster. And I kind of like the hint of orange. Okay, so I'm really happy with that. But I am going to go another step. Where is my pen? Where is my pen? There you are. And I'm going to use a ruler. I very seldom use a ruler, but I have an idea for this one. I want to take, and I'm using black ink because I just love this pen. And I'm just going to draw some straight lines this time. Well, so much for straight. That's okay. It's okay. Oh my goodness, it's actually inking the ruler. I'm using the wrong side up against the ruler. So that's okay. I wanted them straight, but they're not, and that's okay too. So we're gonna draw a few more lines. I'm not really worrying exactly how they are, and I'm gonna just dot the ends. This is something I've been kind of working on a couple of different projects, and I like the look, so I decided to mix my modern-y and my vintage all together. And the ruler just... And with this pen, if I actually start and stop a little bit at the beginning, I can get that little flat ball-like end on there. Not always, but sometimes. So now we've done that, let's just do my normal kind of just put a little... I know that if I go too fast with this pen, it doesn't always want to work. What am I doing, you say? I don't know. But I just thought it would look okay, and I'm happy with it. So I have that done. Let's pull our page back over here. Tuck that little baby in there. So we've got a nice little journaling spot. And I think I'm going to have to do my border. I think we'll just do the top and the bottom. Put a little bit around. kind of ties them together a little bit. Not that that's a big deal because, like I say, they're going to be glued together this way to make the page. So I have used the tea-dyed paper, that's 1. The bird page, that's 2. The fibers and the key, that's 3 and 4. And the envelope is 5. And this workbook is 6. And when it's all said and done, I still have all these fun things left over. And I have already decided after the last page I did, and I have this beautiful piece here, that all of the leftover stuff is going to go back into an envelope, and that is what I am going to use on my cover. How do you say, am I going to do my cover? I don't know. But hopefully it comes to me before I get there. So I think I'm really happy with this. This could use some writing in here. Maybe I will write a quote. Right now I can't think of one. If somebody's got a quote that fits my story, fits my pages, share it. I would love to see it. I'm not always good with words. I talk like I write like I talk. So that being said, I'm going to call this one done. And I think I'll use the fibers on here. I'll put a few of them in here so that, you know, the 2 pages will be, you know, close to each other, thinking, you know, whatever order I decide to put them in. And they'll all blend. They will all blend this time perfectly. But then again, I think they did last time. And I still am in total love with the book I made last time. So everyone have a great day, and I will see you next month. Bye-bye.